All right, we'll just jump right in.
Okay.
So, LA voters saw for the first time who you're all about on the debate stage. How do you think you did?
Incredible, because all I say is common sense. I don't do the politician talk, and I think it's refreshing to people hear somebody speak from the heart, be authentic. And what I'm talking about is what thousands of moms message me every day, come up to me. They don't feel safe. And I'm saying, as mayor, I'm going to enforce the laws that exist to make moms and kids feel safe in front of their schools, on their sidewalks, in front of parks, in front of daycare. So that message resonates. So I don't think it could have gone better, because my opponents will not tell these mothers anything they want to hear about keeping them safe. They'll continue this path that we've been on, and we see does not work. The combined, I think that's what, 10 years these two have been in the city, and nobody feels safe. And this idea that crime is down, you can talk to any of these moms or people that message me, nobody even bothers calling 911, because unless you're actually being shot at, the response time, they'll be like, go online. They don't have the resources right now because of the amount of drug addicts taking all the law enforcement resources, the fire department resources. So long answer. I felt like it was great.
Yeah, you mentioned that people see you as, you're an outsider, you're a breath of fresh air. You have not been in the system like your other two candidates. It's one thing, the easy part is criticizing where the mayor and the council go wrong, right? That's the easy part. The hard part is actually running a city. Why should voters believe that you, who don't have any experience in that realm, can actually be the solution?
Yeah, because we're living their experience right now. Their experience has failed us. So what we need is somebody to come in with common sense. They're going to continue, their experience is to tell you that all of these people just need a bed. We need more billions of dollars for these beds. The DEA has said 90% of the people living on the streets in Los Angeles are drug addicts. Drug addicts do not want beds, they want drugs. We need mandatory treatment. I don't mean jail, they don't all need to get jail, but we need to get mandatory medical treatment to get people off of super meth, get them off of fentanyl, and then we can work on getting them beds. And I also don't think the current bed situation they have even works, because say these people are sober, you'll stick maybe a veteran here and a former criminal here with a single mother with a kid, all in one house or building with no services for these people. They're even inside safe, isn't even safe for the people inside, and it's not safe for the people outside. And again, I may not have the experience, but I have the common sense to say, this is not working. We watched them for an hour last night make excuses why it's not working. We know why it's not working. You've had years and billions of our tax dollars to prove it's not working. And now you want more billions of dollars for more beds. With the billions you've got, you're bragging about 3,000 people, 4,000 people. They're not even talking about the 1,500 people that died in the streets, overdosed, dead. They don't even count that number from last year. So again, the amount of very talented, smart, successful people with experience that call me all day long, the lunches I take, the people waiting to come into my administration. A lot of them, I can't say their names right now because the city really does retaliate at people. Look at what they did to Chief Crowley when she told the truth. She got fired. Now she's suing Mayor Bass for that. So there's a lot of people I have as deputy mayors ready to go with 40 plus years of experience running major cities that are waiting for the right time that we can bring them out. But again, I'm not saying I know all the answers. What I'm saying is I'm going to put a team around me. Mayor Bass, I keep saying this, while my house was burning down and she was in Ghana, her deputy mayor, who was supposed to be calling in the fixed air wing support to drop water on the state park here, he wasn't, because he was on house arrest for calling in a bomb threat to City Hall. If that's the experience voters are looking for, we've seen it. Nobody wants that experience anymore. We want change. So they're voting for me for a change. We're done. I'm the mandate for change.
Just 1 month before the primary, a recent poll from UCLA indicated that over 40% of the electorate still is undecided. That makes this race wide open by every margin. And it's unusual to see that level of uncertainty when you have an incumbent mayor running once again. What does that say to you about who you might be able to bring under your constituency?
Everyone wants change. Again, Bass has not changed. Councilwoman Robin is actually a worse change. It's Bass, but worse, which is mind-boggling. So those people, A, they didn't hear my message yet. B, they heard it and they just don't want to argue with something and be like, oh, he's a reality star. Oh, they just hang up and say undecided. It's a lot easier. Not to mention, all my voters are probably not picking up a poll call because we get 1,000 spam calls every day in LA. There's scary people on the street, so most people don't interact with strangers. So my voters probably aren't even talking to these UCLA pollsters. So I don't even go off of that poll. But with that poll, what it shows is that Mayor Bass has the worst record in LA history. So everything I'm saying, when people say, oh, you don't have experience, look at the experience. And Councilwoman Robin's experience is just as bad. You heard Mayor Bass call her out last night in the debate. She's terrible. She doesn't even show up to any of these votes, any of these things she's talking about. She hasn't done in 5 years of being the third most powerful person in city council. So now she has all these ideas because she thinks, you know, she can hop in because Mayor Bass's approval is so low. She's just a clout chaser.
I think a lot of people are surprised or were surprised when you threw your hat in the ring, right? This is an unlikely race with a very unlikely candidate. Do you think that you've managed to change people's minds?
You know, I was surprised. I didn't want to run for mayor, but I saw that Mayor Bass was 100% going to get 4 more years on June 2nd. Nobody else was stepping up. I wish somebody with the experience that everybody wants stepped up, but we didn't get that opportunity. So I had to step up so that my sons one day can come back to, we're standing in their former bedroom, come back here and live in the LA that I lived in. Beautiful, safe. And I don't want the LA I lived in. I actually want LA to be the #1 city in the world, because now that I've been having all these meetings and these powerful people that want LA back to what it should be, they're like, this should be better than Dubai. This should be the #1 city on the planet. So I used to say in my messaging, I just want LA to be back to the LA I grew up in. I want that, but times 100 better. Because why would we go back in time? Let's make LA the greatest city on the planet. So I'm as surprised as they probably were that I'm here, but somebody had to do it because we need to get LA changed.
Yeah. Going back to the inevitable question about your reality show beginnings, you know, you are best known to Americans as a reality star and a reality show villain, right? You yourself have said this. You're also a Republican in a deep blue city that hasn't voted for a Republican in decades. Do you think you have an actual shot, and how and why? I mean, it seems that the odds are stacked against you.
Yeah, thankfully, all my supporters in Los Angeles are Democrats. Everyone I know, my family, are all Democrats. I grew up in LA. I went to Crossroads. Everybody that texted me last night, amazing, congratulations, are all Democrats. So what people are confused on, the Democrats all are behind me. It's just the socialists and the communists that don't back me. But no, I'm confident I'm probably going to win with 51% on June 2nd, because I don't do a political message. I don't do national politics. I don't do tribal politics. I don't talk about other states. I'm localized. I just want to fix our streets, get the lights on. I want people to feel safe. I want to get our tax money to not be robbed by these literal criminal NGOs stealing from our tax to increase the homelessness. So my message isn't political, it's common sense. So I have Democrats love me, Republicans love me, independents love me, libertarians love me, constitutionalists love me. It's just socialists and communists.
Yeah.
That I even have some socialists reaching out, be like, hey, stop being so mean to us. We love you too, because they hear me, you know, asking for accountability, and I guess that's one of their things.
Yeah.
So.
Well, speaking of socialists, many have compared you to Zohran Mamdani, in the sense, I mean, your politics are obviously very, very, very different, but in the sense that you've really harnessed the power of social media to get your message out. What do you think of that comparison?
You know, the one thing I connect with is I know he promised his voters, like, the subway will be free, and I'm promising my voters the metro buses, the metro trains, they will be free from urine, feces, stabbing, attacks. So that's kind of similar. We both had free things for public transportation. But, you know, I think he connected with people because they felt like change. They wanted change. That message would never connect here because we've already been doing the socialist experiment pretty much for 6+ years, and it's failed here in Los Angeles. So I think my message is, why it's resonating on social media, is it's the truth. It's authentic. It's from my heart. I didn't want to be a politician. I'm standing in what happened because of failed politicians.
Yeah.
That's why I'm here. I don't want to be, I want to go in and change LA so that this never happens to anybody. A lot of people are like, oh, he only cares about the Palisades. This isn't coming back for a long time. No, I'm fighting for other communities. This is going to happen to a lot of people in the next 4 years. There's less firefighters now than January 7th. There's 45 less firefighters. We are not prepared. Don't listen to Mayor Bass if you live in the Hollywood Hills, Sunland, Tahunga, Bel Air, the Valley. The dead brush is already growing back in the Palisades. Everyone is in danger, not to mention forget fire danger. We're not ready for a mass casualty event if there was an earthquake. We don't even have a helicopter. We don't have one Chinook that could come in and take 40 people if there was an earthquake and the freeway crash and all these people need to be rescued. We don't have a plan for this. We are so underprepared for everything. So I'm excited actually, because once you get in this, you're like, oh my God, this is a red alert. Like, let's change.
Yeah.
Probably just time for one more question here.
Okay, and then we'll move. Okay. Let me get the fire question out there. You've talked about cooperating with the Trump administration when it comes to ICE enforcement. What does that cooperation look like, given the fact that we are in a sanctuary city as well as a sanctuary state?
To be clear, I said I'd always work with the federal government, just like I'll work with my state partners. I'm going to be the mayor for all Angelenos. So it's a sanctuary state. So by law, I can't work with ICE. But what I can do, because I'll be enforcing laws, is make sure that rapists, drug dealers, child traffickers, the worst of the worst criminals, whether they're illegal or legal, I'm removing these people off the street. So my point was, ICE won't need to come to LA when I'm mayor, because I'm going to be getting all the criminals, the hardened criminals. And that's what we were all told ICE is looking for. So I'm going to find them on behalf of what we were all told. Mayor Bass loves ICE because she knows she can't do anything, but she can distract everyone and yell about something that she has no power over, because it's a sanctuary state. She can't do anything. She can't work with them, and you can't stop federal law enforcement. So I don't do performative politics. I just tell the truth and what is possible. The federal agencies I want to work with are the FBI, that just yesterday in MacArthur Park went after all the fentanyl drug dealers, not Mayor Bass, the FBI, the DEA. I want to bring the CDC back to LA, because we have medieval diseases on these streets, in these encampments. Go walk around Los Angeles and swab some of these encampments. The CDC needs to be shutting down these streets and putting up white tents, and we need to be spraying these streets with chlorine or whatever chemical, because these streets are not safe. You know what, all this fentanyl and all this stuff that goes right into our sewers, goes right into our ocean, goes into our water. There's plenty of federal agencies I want to work with. And again, as mayor, I will be the one enforcing the law and following the law, which for some reason our current city leaders forgot to do. All these laws I want to enforce, back to Democrat, Republican, every law I want to enforce is a Democrat law in the city of LA. I'm going to enforce them all. So I'm the Democrat law enforcer.
Okay, cool. And then we're gonna do a walk and talk.
Stopping this camera. Let it clear here. Gentlemen, go ahead.
So you were saying that your child's bedroom was right here before you lost your home.
Yep.
No, nothing's been rebuilt.
Out of 7,000 houses, I think, don't quote me, maybe 300 houses are being rebuilt. I think maybe 3 have been finished. So no, it's when people brag about fastest recovery, faster than in Hawaii's fire, which was on an island, nothing's fast. This has been a disaster. Mayor Bass, after 18 months, just went to Washington 4 days before a debate just to get that talking piece. There's a city commissioner that told me they were on a Zoom after the president first came here after the fire and said, rush everything. And she, on a Zoom, Mayor Bass, this city commissioner said, Mayor Bass said, the president said all this, I'm not doing any of it. And that's the problem with tribal politics. When there's a disaster, everyone needs to come together. And that's what's clearly failed us in the Palisades.
Can we take a look?
Yeah.
So this is base. This
is the base. Thank you to my SBA disaster loan. I'll be paying for this for the next 30 years. But this is a great. I love coming here because it just pumps me up. Because this is This is reality. I had to get this with an SBA disaster loan. They don't just hand you the loans. You got to, it took a long time just to get this. And then I just got the wire to connect the power last night on the debate night. So I've been waiting weeks. My neighbors, it took 6 weeks for one wire to connect their power. So this idea that things are moving fast and red tape cut or what, it just shows you how long it takes for people to build in the city in LA. If you're a restaurant, if you're a developer, if this is the fastest place and a wire takes 6 weeks, there's across the board, LA is in trouble.
You obviously entered this race because of something very personal and tragic for you and your family. It was the wildfires and the loss of everything that you had built up over your lifetimes. All that said, the mayor is a big job, right? You're up against people with enormous amounts of experience. You have not been in politics before. You haven't run a government agency. You haven't run a city park. Why should voters trust you to lead the second largest city in the country?
I mean, look at Obama. He was a community organizer. I've won 2 community advocate awards for nobody thought, why can Obama become a senator? And then the president, he had no experience running the whole entire country, which is way bigger than LA. So when people have passion and they care and they have common sense and they have humility to know, I don't know everything, but what I do know is all these very smart, successful people in Los Angeles want to get around me, get behind me, and make sure LA is the #1 city in the world. So the team that I'll put around me, my job as mayor is actually just to fight for the constituents, to be in these communities, to be with the community leaders, to be fighting their city council members to get what they want done. That's all the conversations I've had in all these communities. They don't feel heard by their city council members or the mayor. So my job actually isn't to run the entire city. My job is to put the smartest people in the world in these positions. And we clearly do not have the smartest people in the world running anything right now across the board. Think about who Mayor Bass put in power. Janice Quinones. She drained 2 of the wildfire protection water reservoirs in the Pacific Palisades in the driest season in history. All red. You look at the warning maps for months ahead. No plans, no extra water tanks. That's experience Mayor Bass had. She put that person as the CEO. Right there, this idea that I'm up against these really intelligent, great people that they don't know what they're doing. They're failing. 6 people are dying in the street every day. That's the experience I'm up against. Yeah, I'll promise you I won't let 6 people die in the streets because I have compassion. I'll make sure addicts get mandatory treatment. That's the experience I have. I will make sure these dogs that are being abused and tortured on the street right now, that they're not being, they're letting this happen. They're not doing it because it's culturally insensitive to give a ticket or a citation to somebody without an address. No, they need to go to jail. If you torture an animal, you know who you're going to torture next is a wife, a mom, a kid. That's data. People that hurt animals are the first people to then do something really bad to human beings. So back to this experience thing, the city is a disaster. People, that's why I have so much momentum. People don't care if I'm not a politician. Mayor Bass had no experience running a city. She was a congressman. She maybe made a post office. This Councilwoman Rahman can't even handle her own district. She's not some experience. I'm not running against people who are successful. They put people around them that are failures. They are failures. That's why I'm leading a lot of polls. I'm leading the messaging because people are well aware of the experience they're living under. So now when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
Again, I'm meeting with people that they're going to charge $1 a year because they're already so successful. They want to stay here.
Yeah.
That's the fight that people have for LA.
Yeah.
They want to invest. I met with a billionaire this week. His family donated $300 million for a project in New York. He said his family would willing to do $500 million just to bring fun back to LA. So these people are having lunch with me. I know the type of, this is now, I'm not even the mayor, and I'm able to have these meetings with these people that are like, we can do this. So I'm really confident and I'm not concerned.
Most LA voters for the first time saw a different side of the reality show villain that Americans associate you with. Do you think you changed perceptions on that debate stage?
You know, I always have been an authentic person. People know when I was a reality villain, I was doing it to get paid. I was chasing ratings bonus. I was the youngest executive producer in the history of Hollywood. I sold a Fox television show, reality show, at 20 years old for $3.7 million. That was all a character. And again, that's 20 years ago. Since then, I've been a father to 2 sons, a husband of almost 20 years to my amazing angel wife, a small business owner. My e-commerce was at one time before COVID the #1 e-commerce jewelry site in the world. So I know people think I'm this, villain, but people who really have looked into me know that that was a performance, a character. And again, I would do all that again. It was an incredible job. Thank you, MTV. So it's not like it was strategic. I was working with the producers.
Are you being strategic now, or is this the authentic Spencer Pratt?
I'm standing in my Airstream in my burned down house. So I'm being strategic to fight these people that have destroyed my life, my neighbor's life, all of Angelino's life. So yes, I'm being very strategic to win and save LA. But no, there's no strategy when you're standing in an Airstream on your burnout town. You can't fake that. There's no bit to that. I would much rather be in my house feeding my hummingbirds and have my life back. But that wasn't God's path for me. And so now I'm going to undo the harm these people are doing to a lot of people in the city of LA. And back to this thing, for instance, they say, oh, he seems so angry. Everyone I talk to in LA is angry. They're actually angrier than me because I have a beautiful 2 kids, a beautiful wife. Some people are alone and they're dealing with the destruction of their city, not feeling safe on the streets, all the disasters in this city. They're alone. At least I have my family. So there's people a lot angrier than me that are going to show up and vote for me right now. They're already sending in their ballots. They're putting in ballots every day. I truly believe I'm winning with 51% on June 2nd. That's how angry Angelinos are. They're not looking for the guy with they don't want an experienced politician. They're living what experienced politicians have done to their lives. So it's time for a change.
Yeah. You've launched quite a successful. So you've gotten a lot of traction on social media between your campaign videos, your messages, as well as the many campaign videos that others have thrown in support that you have re-exed or reposted. I'm curious to get your sense of what is the strategy and what do you think is coming from those pushes on social media?
Everyone is done with politicians, period. They see me and they don't see a politician. Everyone wants to support that. That's real grassroots. That's why I have the #1 in the history of Los Angeles, the #1 small donor donations to my campaign. Beat the record. That's because under $100. It's because everyone wants a non-politician. I don't have a political party that supports me. You can call me whatever you want. I don't have a campaign manager. I don't have one consultant. This is from my heart. So that resonates. People see the BS. People know image crafting. People know performance politics. They know I'm raw and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to fight for these people that are corrupt. They're stealing our tax money to increase problems, to let people die on the street when that money can go to helping people. And that is going to be a life mission for me. And now I know, because I was real sad after everything I lost. My mom cries all day long and all my friends lost everything. All my friends' families lost. I was very sad and I felt like a victim. And then when I got into this fight, I was like, oh, I don't need to be a victim. I can help people. I can change. I can make other people not feel like what I felt like. And that's been so empowering. And then when I get out in communities, people come up to me, senior citizens, old ladies, they hug me and they cry and they're like, you give me hope. And that supercharges me. Like, you think I'll be tired today, but no, thousands of messages. Thank you. Thank you. That gets me motivated. So it's actually fun. I'm having fun now.
Yeah. I'm sure you get a lot of this. I hated you on the Hills, thought you were an asshole, but I see you a little differently these days.
Yeah, the goal was to be hated on the Hills. Like that, I asked David Foster, who started with music producer legend, who I sold Prince's Malibu. It was planned. We had a talk. He said, you could be more hated than Simon Cowell. You'll be a multi-millionaire. This is somebody with 18 Grammys helping me. And Dave Foster next week is hosting a fundraiser for me. Full circle. This is somebody who started with me when I was 20, and now he is backing me for mayor and hosting and calling all the heavy hitters in the whole city for a fundraiser. So, of course they hated me. I was a professional villain. I was a TV character, personality. And I don't regret one of those things because it was a show. I worked with the producers, I worked with the story writers, and everything was fake. everybody thought I was this bad boyfriend. 20 years later, I'm still with my wife. And we have 2 beautiful kids. So no, I totally understand why those people think that. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It was a job. It was a job in your 20s.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, and you know, I've done a lot of life since then, and I don't regret it, because if you came back to me at 20 and offered me millions of dollars when I was 20 years old again to be ridiculous on TV and have people not like you, I'd do it again right now. So it's not like I say to you, I was terrible. Like, no, I was a 20-year-old trying to make a hit TV show, and if the ratings got to 5 million, I got a $1 million bonus. So I was crazed.
Yeah.
Tried at all times, because I was like, let me get that extra million, you know. So
Yeah.
you know,
And you don't think it's a liability at this point?
no, I think the liability is the people in charge right now. I'm living the liability. You know, I actually, you know, what I think is so funny when they call me the reality star, I'm like, no, I'm the only candidate living in reality. These people are delusional. You heard them last night for an hour just talking in circles and like it's just, they don't even say anything. They're just blah, 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 blah. They're not living in reality. So call me the reality candidate, because I'm living in reality with all my voters.
I also was watching your facial expression when.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think we're just gonna need to wrap in
Yeah. Okay.
It's hot in here, huh?
Yeah.
I can't complain, because you
So,
got to carry that.
no. One last
Thank you,
one.
guys.
One last one. I was watching your facial expression as, I forget who it was, said that LA does not need MAGA.
Well, LA needs a change, and I'm a change. So people aren't voting for me because I'm represented by a political party. I am an angry Angelino that just wants common sense. I want moms to feel safe. I want restaurants. We lost over 100 restaurants this year. I want restaurants to be able to stay open. I want businesses to be able to stay open. I want people to be able to have money again in LA. I want Hollywood to be booming like it should be for everyone, for the grips, the camera operators, the set crews, the glam people. I am not a political person. I was in entertainment business. I sold healing crystals. So to frame me as like this politician representing any political party is just they're just trying to distract people. It's like just, right when I'm saying facts, I gotta yell something like, oh. So it's just pathetic. And people are done with that tribal politics. We have a problem with local leadership. Nothing with the national politics has anything to do with why our streets aren't working, why they don't feel safe, why our tax money is being stolen, why drug addicts are running the streets. That's all Mayor Bass and the City Councilwoman Rahman. So I truly am like, good luck with that. It's not going to work. I'll show you on June 2nd when we win by 51%, because I have Angelinos, because I'm a native Angelino. These people aren't even real deal LA people. Nithya Rahman, Councilman Rahman, moved here in 2013. Okay, Mayor Bass has lived in Sacramento and Washington her whole life in politics. I'm a real LA person. So again, and real LA people feel that. Oh, hey, there's a native Angelino. So not
All right.
say whatever you want. Let's do it more, please. You know.
All right. Very
Amazing.
good. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Really appreciate you.